Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Being Your Own CEO, our weekly success circle, uh, especially suited for solopreneurs or solo entrepreneurs or whatever way we want to say it. Um, it's it's something that we've been meeting now for I guess about a year and a half.
Hmm.
Some of us. And we may have some people join us. There were some other people who said they would like to join us, so they can feel free to come in if they do. But I would just caution them to make sure they turn off what they're watching, turn that off before they come in. Otherwise, we'll get a great big echo. So, welcome everybody. And the first thing on the agenda, as usual, is to give everyone an opportunity to say something about who they are, where they are, and what they do. So, Craig, I'm going to start with you. You're on the on my left side. I guess maybe it shows up on the right side for others.
Hi, my name's Craig. I'm here in Western New York. Um, I build websites and do local marketing with local clients, and uh, and anyone else that needs a website, basically. uh, my latest crohnsinfection.org is international, so it's actually doing quite well. But anyway, that's what I do.
Right on. Yeah. And we had some people on last time that we hope that you'll hear from, and maybe there's a little bit of business coming from Nathan this time as well. So, and I really like to emphasize that because I've noticed that over the year and a half that we've been doing this, maybe it's a little more. I'm not sure. Um, we have found that people who come and interact and get to know one another actually do end up doing business together. So that makes me very happy. So welcome, Craig. Nice to have you back. We missed you last week.
Thank you. Sorry, it was unavoidable.
Uh, Life happens.
Yeah. Business happens.
Yes. Well, and that's a good thing.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So, Jay, how about you this morning?
Hi, my name is Jay, and I help people get started in the world of online business, including affiliate marketing and local search engine marketing.
Right on. And nice to have you with us as usual. You have so much knowledge that you've been sharing so willingly.
I'm like the Cliff Clavin of internet marketing.
Oh dear. So Nathan, how about you?
Oh my God, I'm next. Okay, yeah, like I was saying last time, I'm a recovering tech writer. Actually, what's really been going on, I've been keeping a bit of a hat on it, but I've decided to reinvent myself, and what I'm doing is teaching people how to attain inner peace. Before I used to call it how to end your suffering, and then I discovered, no, it's not a good idea. I'm going to reinvent that. I'm going to go with the end goal in mind, which is how to attain and maintain inner peace. So I've built a website to that effect. I've got a Facebook page, a group, and I've been marketing the living daylights out of myself as of late and building engagement and so on. But that's my hat.
Right on.
That's where I'm going.
Yes, I've received a few notifications from you recently that explains basically what you just said. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lil. Good
Yeah.
to see that you're getting them, or good to
Oh
hear
yeah.
that you're getting them.
All right. And Paul, welcome. We want
Good mo-
to introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Paul. I help people get rid of sales breath and encourage them to engage their clients in their clients' buying cycle.
Sales breath. Could you? It makes me want to giggle.
Did you say clients buying cycle or clients spying cycle?
Buying.
Right. So what's sales breath?
Well, sales breath is that thing that you automatically sort of sniff in the air when someone is trying to sell you something, and your old instincts go up and say, "Am I ready to fight or am I ready to flight?" So it's a common affliction amongst people who have created good businesses but don't understand too much about how people buy.
Right. That's I yeah. I think that's a neat phrase that you created there.
I didn't create it. I actually stole it off a podcast from a friend of mine named Joe Girard.
Oh,
Oh, Joe Girard. Yes, I keep seeing him on my Facebook feed.
yeah,
Last I heard he's on holiday somewhere. Forget. Spain, maybe.
right. So, and I might just finish off by saying that my business is called Work Style Lifestyle Consulting. I do consulting and coaching work, especially for solo entrepreneurs or solopreneurs. I like to help them find direction and stay motivated and build systems that support and promote their business. And what have I been doing lately? Boy, oh boy, oh boy, there's been some really interesting things happening in my world. One of them is that I've participated in a number of blabs this week. Is
Heard about those. What are
anybody
they?
here know anything about blabs?
I heard about it this morning. I don't know what it is, but somebody mentioned it.
Yeah, Paul, you've heard? Have you participated in any?
Why, yes, I have.
Right on. So I've
One of them
participated
you
in.
were in.
Oh yes, I know. That's right. I remember that.
I think we were digging Monday.
We dig Monday. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing that is kind of fun and new in my life is that I am working with the Martin Shervington's Plus Your Business group, his academy, and we're conducting an experiment to see how to make a campaign work. And we started out by creating some things for collections, which is the newish product that Google Plus has. And so the idea is that we all use the We Dig logo for Monday and really promote the whole idea of We Dig Monday. So I actually started that, and I can't believe the results that I've gotten. It's just amazing. I also, at the same time, with the Google Plus activity, I decided to have that spill over into my blog, and I've gotten some really interesting reaction from that direction as well. So my little piece of this whole experiment is We Dig Mindset Monday. So you'll find some pieces, my entries in my collections, but you'll also find it I've posted into the Being Your Own CEO community. So that's a little bit about what I've been doing. Before we launch into today's topic, I would like to just forewarn people. My system is working in a very strange way today. I'm suddenly working without two screens. And we've realized things are a little on the wonky side. So I apologize ahead of time in case something drastic happens. I decided to carry on, keep it on. So let's see what happens. So this morning, I thought it would be useful for us to continue on our discussion. Last week we talked about, where do you begin if you're starting a new website? And a couple of the gals that were here last time were very appreciative of the information that got shared. But I noticed that both of those gals and myself, a number of us, are doing blogs. And it seems as though we need to, or it seemed to me that it would be logical for us to kind of take that next step and talk about blogging itself. And I might say, yes, it came up as part of our discussion last time about a website and whether we choose to tunes in our work or not. But there certainly are some other ways to do blogging now. Doing it from your website is not the only way, for sure. So anybody? So Nathan, I know that you're doing a blog. Craig, do you do a blog?
I do have blogging on my website. So I find that blogging is a good way to update or keep your site current and updated. So I'll add frequent posts, which I guess is what blogging is all about. So,
Right.
yeah, I try and keep the site. I try and keep stuff coming in constantly. So yes, I do blog on pretty much every site that I have.
And that's a good point that you raise about the impact, the effect that it has of from what's from the viewer and from the whole sort of Google system, is that if there's constantly new things being posted in there, your site has a better profile for sure. Yeah. So Jay, what about you? Do you do a blog?
Yeah, I've been known to have a blog or two. Yeah, I mean it's probably one of the most powerful ways to attract new audiences based on organic search. Because I mean the whole premise of a blog is to communicate, your opinion of whatever is happening in the world that's related to your niche, and proper blogging etiquette or techniques can really have an amazing, positive, profound effect on your online business, to the point where, like, a single article, if it's optimized for the search engines and the readers, it can drive a huge amount of traffic to your website organically. So, because what happens is your search engines, the search engines start to read your site, and you get indexed for a variety of different keywords, which are based on the words that are in your site. So, I mean, for me, I get a plethora of traffic based on a couple articles that I've written, and as a result of that, they've stayed up in the search engines for a very long time. We call this an evergreen blogging. So it works quite well. But I think organization is key, in terms of blogging. It's a huge thing. You need to stay organized. One of the biggest things I've come across in terms of when I'm teaching this stuff is people don't know what to write. They have no idea what to write. They're kind of lost. They get that paralysis analysis, or analysis paralysis.
Yeah. But I think you make an interesting point there about, because often people have a website, and it can sometimes be somewhat static, almost like a brochure.
Yeah.
And by posting on a regular basis from your website as a blog, that is the way you keep it fresh and you keep everybody interested.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important. And now, Nathan, I know that you're starting up a new blog. What about you? What's your experience of blogging?
Well, I mean, I've had different blogs. One to do with travel, and at one point I was blogging every day for quite a while and building a bit of an audience. But what I've since learned is that there's a different approach to blogging, and depending on who you talk to, you shouldn't be posting too much on your blog and instead be doing guest blogging and getting visibility that way. And what I did only in the last couple of days, actually, one thing I haven't spoken much about, because this is a new strategy, is I'm modeling a woman by the name of Eleanor Strong, and what I'm doing is building engagement and community on Facebook. And one of the things that happened is one of my colleagues and influencers wrote to me on my Facebook thing. He started asking me a whole bunch of questions, and he said to me, what you need to do is change your strategy. And so what I did is, following what he said, is instead of posting on Facebook and posting an entire post, what I've been doing is posting it to my blog. I have a whole bunch of social media plugins, and one of them links to Facebook. So I've got a Facebook page, a Facebook group. And so within WordPress, there's a little function called the More button. And you can stick it at any point in your content, and what it means is that you will only see that snippet up to the More tag and nothing afterwards. So I've been using that when I post it to, say, Facebook, and it goes to my page. It posts that snippet, then the article, and a picture. And so what I've been doing is branding my content in such a way so it looks like virtually everything else. And I also discovered that within a lot of the groups, that I thought I couldn't do posts with links. I've discovered I could. And I have been, and all of a sudden my engagement's been going up in the last 2-3 days of doing it. So it's been rather interesting, and I'm getting more feedback. People are writing to me more and asking questions, and just a matter of time before I start getting my first clients.
Right. Yes, that More button is a very handy feature. I've used that numerous times.
I like it a lot. It's great. But the other thing is, also within WordPress is something called Jetpack. And if you enable it, it will give you access to, I believe, 6 social media platforms. And I've enabled mine for 5. So whenever I click on the post button, it sends it out automatically to the 5 platforms.
Yeah. Well, there's a number of ways to look at to approach that. But
Sure.
now, Paul, what about you? Are you blogging?
I'm actually blogless in Victoria.
Oh dear. So, but I know that you're very active in LinkedIn. What's the place where you can post? I've forgotten the name of the LinkedIn one where people post their. Nathan, I think I saw you used that service in LinkedIn as well.
I've used it tons of times. It's
What's
just
it called?
Good question. It's just a place within your profile where you can post. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it so I can answer your question.
Right.
Because I'm trying to do it on the fly, and obviously that doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
But it's under your profile.
Mm-hmm.
That much I do remember. So getting to the profile, then there's updates, like the updates that I've posted, and then if you've posted updates, it'll say recent activity, then published. That's if you've published articles, and then it comes up to a page where it shows your name and your number of followers, and then at the right you'll see a little gray button that says Publish a Post, and that's where you can upload.
Yeah.
it.
So it doesn't even give the name on there. I've seen a few of them, but I guess this is leading us toward what I've noticed. I've noticed that in Google Plus, you can almost use Google Plus as a blog.
Maybe you could. I don't know.
So yes, you can. Because I've done it.
Okay.
So, so what's happening, certainly in Google Plus, and it's I would think that there's a way to do it in Facebook. Oh, somebody's ringing.
I hear that.
That's Anna. Oh dear.
Just send her the link from the Hangout here.
How am I going to do that with only one screen? Says she. um, I feel like I'm working with one arm. So
Maybe you are.
so, but where I was going is that there are ways that you can use these other platforms almost like a blog, and that's another approach to take. But if you're using that, you're not getting that organic search benefit to your website. So, having said all of this, it means that we all need to be pretty strategic about how we do things and where we do them and why we do them.
Agreed.
Yeah. I've been listening to a number of people recently who've been talking about blogging, and I watched somebody yesterday who talked about who her main focus is blogging. There she is. Hello, Anna.
I had to be on my phone Google Hangout, so it's probably all choppy. I just got in. I didn't have my computer on, so this is the fastest way.
All right. So we're talking about blogging this morning, Anna.
Oh, interesting. I don't want to miss that. Okay, go ahead. I want to try.
So this lady that I was listening to, I think her name is Ilana Smith. She started out her career online as teaching people and talking about blogging, and she talked a little bit about the mistakes that she made in the early times, where she was just blogging about anything, and not getting very much traction, not getting very much traffic, not getting many responses or whatever, until she began to realize that if you're going to be successful at blogging, how important it is to choose a focus before you ever start to do anything. And so once she decided who her target audience was, and specifically the topic area, I guess what niche she wanted to cover, she then began to realize that she got better results from that. So that would be a piece that I want to emphasize, how important it is to decide on a focus before you start, just putting stuff out there. And to know who you're, being really specific about who you're writing for. And the other piece that is really important is to have a plan. And and part of that plan would be your frequency and what you're trying to accomplish, etc. And that whole piece around consistency. And I must admit that that's something that I find difficult, I do lots of blogging, but not consistently enough. So I'm changing with my Mindset Monday.
Can I give you a little bit of feedback on that?
Sure.
What's been happening is that by getting involved in Facebook and getting involved in a whole bunch of groups, what's been happening is that I will post something, and then I get a certain amount of feedback, sometimes quite a bit of feedback. And what's been happening is I'm engaging more and more with the people by watching what they post, but also watching their responses. And quite often, just by watching the responses, I look at it and go, perfect idea for a blog post. And I just grab it and write something real quick, and before I know it, I have new content. And this happens so many times that I've come up with brand new content pieces just by watching what's been happening in the groups themselves. And like the language, like in some of these groups, there's a lot of blaming, because I'm dealing with people with anxiety and depression and this and that. Lots of blaming and labeling. And I thought, ooh, perfect idea for a piece, and it really, created all this feedback and engagement, and some people
So
really
that,
didn't like it. So, but their dislike gave me more stuff.
yeah. So that feeds into what Jay said a few minutes ago about how people get all hung up about what should I write about.
Yeah.
So but knowing who your audience is, being really clear about who your audience is and who they are and what their challenges and interests are is so important before you decide to do a blog. So that just
Yeah.
fits in, doesn't it, Jay?
Yeah, absolutely. What I've always taught people is to, in regards to who is your audience, is actually write down the typical person as to who would be reading your content. Male, female, both, age range, hobbies, interests, maybe even giving them a name. And I think this works really well. We talk about mindset because then it gives you the mindset of who you're blogging to. It's almost like writing a letter specifically for that person. There's an old radio trick where you just think about you're talking to one person.
Whoa.
Your ideal client you could be blogging to, right? If you've got an ideal client avatar or whatever.
Yes. Anna, you've got a huge echo.
You got a huge echo.
Because I'm on my phone.
Do you want to mute?
I
Anna?
will.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and Jay, it was really. I'm glad you brought that up. I actually have a document that I've created, a template for creating a persona.
Yeah, very good.
So if anybody in the audience feels as though they would like to work on something like that to help them gain that sort of focus, just put the comments in the comment stream of this Hangout, and I'll see that you get one. It's very useful. I put that together, and it's kind of cute when you give that person a name, you find a picture of somebody that's in that age group, you define exactly what they're doing and what their Enneagram style is, how often, what their social media activity might be, etc., etc. So
and I think if you really nail down the more you hone your persona, I think the better idea you'll have when it comes to writing your content. It'll become so much more transparent in terms of your delivering to your audience. I've got a little idea for which seems to work quite well for coming up with ideas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to screen share it, if I may.
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
All right. So what you're seeing is a Google Doc. So it's like just a normal Google Doc. And so what we have here, it says Affiliate Resources Inc. Content Topics. So these are just topics that are related to my niche. Okay, and this is literally just a brainstorm document, right? So these are a variety of different topics that are related to my online site, to my business. So this is like my go-to guide in terms of what I should write about. And as you can see, I've made it a list from 1 to whatever. So if I'm ever in a situation where I don't have any ideas to what to write, this is my go-to guide, and I can literally just throw a dart to one of those topics and then be able to come up with some sort of content, right? And then the second one here, so this is the topic. So this is similar to what we just looked at. So here's the topics, and what I've got is this column says content, this column says video, and then this last column says PDF. So what I do is I say, okay, well, I wrote that article on this date, so I put a timestamp on it, and then The other thing too you can do with your blogging content is you can repurpose it and turn it into video or a Hangout or whatever you want. And then that last column is a PDF which you can upload to a website called SlideShare. So it's one piece of content can be distributed or repurposed in several different ways, ranging from, think about the senses that we have and how can you maximize all those senses, So you've got your you've got your content which speaks to your eyes, you have video which speaks to your eyes and your ears, and you have your PDF which speaks to your eyes. You can do a podcast which speaks only to your ears, where you can literally just talk about what it is you talk about within your blog post. And I find that if you stay organized this way, you give yourself an excuse to write more, okay?
I think that's a really interesting way to do it, and I might say there's more than one way to do that. So
absolutely.
I might share with you the way that I started, and I'm using Evernote for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I can pull things in from various places, sources, and all of that. So I've created a notebook in Evernote that is for my Mindset Monday. And then each note, when I think of a new idea, I go in and I start a note. And then as time goes on and I find or think of whatever, I throw information in. And so when it comes time to actually write the posting, then I go in and I find what's there and go from there.
You curate the article, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You curate the information.
Yeah. So, but what I really like about what you just said, Jay, is this whole idea of repurposing things, and that is when we started this morning, I mentioned this activity that I've been doing with the Plus Your Business group. That's basically what I decided to do. We were going to each one of us was going to create a collection on Google Plus and start posting things and using that We Dig thing, because hashtags, so that people can find, but then to post those items into that collection. But as I thought about that, last week was the first Monday that I did it, and I started thinking, well, this is crazy. I've got a mailing list, and most of the people on my mailing list are not the same people that I connect with on Google+. So it only made sense to actually take that posting and post it on my website as a blog post. So that whole idea of taking that same piece of work that you've done and repurposing it in different ways is really, really important. Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
like by posting that as a blog post, then it goes out to your RSS feed and reaches the people that are in your mailing list?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that people were able to connect why the mailing list was important if you did a blog post, because you're not sending mail.
Right. That's right. So thank you very much for pointing that up, because it was on my mind. I needed to bring that up. So there are a number of what do they call them? Autoresponders. The one I use is MailChimp. There are several others. Somebody was talking about Infusionsoft yesterday as being a very efficient one. There are a number of others. I mean, they all, there are a few differences in them and so forth. So on the back end of your blog, if you set that up so that it automatically posts using something like MailChimp, then it goes out to your mailing list. And yeah, I mean, that was a piece that we missed about why a person would want to do some blogging. And
I think because we're born procrastinators, which I think is a good time to pitch your ebook.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually a really good book. I checked that out. So.
Oh, did you? Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. You'll find for viewers out there, if you go to my website loweland.com, you'll find there's a free ebook there. And but getting back to blogging, it's the whole blogging piece is about being able to collect people's emails so that you increase your list, and it causes people, when they receive a blog by email, it causes them to want to go back to your site. So it's a way of staying in touch with your audience. So I don't know, Jay, what do you use as an autoresponder? Do you use MailChimp or Infusionsoft or?
I use MailChimp and I use Aweber. I used to use MailChimp. I was on Aweber for a while, and Aweber ended up having a hack, what's called a DDoS attack on their site. So I said, forget it, I'm out of here, right? And I exported my list, and I went over to MailChimp, and I blogged about it, and it was such a difficult experience to get rid of Aweber in terms of how to do it, right? And I actually wrote about how to cancel your Aweber list, and now I rank for the term how to cancel Aweber.
Oh,
no! So as a result, one of the guys from Aweber left a comment on that blog post, right, about my rants as to why I was leaving. And a couple months went by, and they actually reached out to me saying, "Hey, listen, we really want you back. We appreciate your feedback, all this kind of stuff." And they made the deal enticing enough for me to come back and give it a whirl again. So now I'm using MailChimp, and I went back to Aweber. So and so far the experience with Aweber has been fantastic. So
yeah. So, and some just for the beginners out there, some of these autoresponders have a free aspect, and then most of them also have a premium. So
that's fair.
Yeah. So
MailChimp has a free one, and Mad Mini or Mad Mimi has one that's free. It's kind of a starter one as well.
Yeah.
Mad Mimi.
Mad Mimi. Thank you, Craig.
Mad Mimi. Right on. So there's a lot to think about. Following up on last week and continuing on into this whole idea of blog posting and so forth, it really points up to the fact that yes, we need to be organized, and yes, we need to think through what our strategy is, and to be able to kind of stay focused on that strategy. I think probably the most important thing in the whole blogging world is that whole consistency things. If you want to increase your traffic, you've got to do it often, and you've got to do it consistently. Yeah. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other comments or observations in and around blogging? Because if there aren't any, I also wanted to just say a little bit about this blab thing that I've encountered, because it's new, and it seems as though there are a number of people that haven't participated as yet, and there's a few things to know.
I just wanted to say, don't be scared of blogging. Don't just jump in with 2 feet and create a content topic list and just go for it. I think a lot of people have fear that they fear because we're procrastinators and perfectionists at the same time, right? And I think
those
as a result of us
together.
being, oh yeah, they're like, yeah, Smith and Wesson, those two, right? But when you think that your blog post has to be perfect the first time, you know, you're going to procrastinate. So, and don't worry about like content length and all that kind of stuff. What people are probably telling, oh, it's got to be 1,000 words, or it has to be this. Here's what you have to do to SEO and all that kind of stuff. And you know, it's, to a certain extent, you want to listen to that stuff, but don't set it up in your brain so that it has to be done that way, or else you're just not going to do it, right? I think just jump right in, go ahead and get started. It's like riding a bike. It takes a little practice to get used to, and just go for it.
I couldn't agree more, but you know, I just thought of one more thing that is important, and that is the importance of having a visual. When you're posting, I mean, your content is important, but you really need to have an appealing visual. People today are so attracted to visuals, so.
Yeah.
And that's another topic in and of itself, especially when you're trying to find a visual that supports a concept. It's not easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've got a resource here. I put in our chat. I don't know how to link for the other chat, but if you want to share that, it's a resource for free Creative Commons images that you can use for your imagery for your blog post content. And a lot of them are very vague and stuff like that. But you know, if you get the metaphor, you know, if you find some funky metaphor for your content, you know, then you should be able to find something in there.
That's thank you. That's a useful resource, and I'll certainly make use of it. I'll go have a look at it for sure. Oh, you're such a wealth of information, Jay. It's amazing.
I told you the Cliff Clavin of internet marketing.
Oh dear.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry if I'm echoing. I will speak slowly. This is sort of related, but not quite. And if the answer is really long, we can skip it. I just want to know if, Jay, this is a question for you, I think. When I create a website, can I then copy that website to create somebody else's website based on that template in WordPress? Do you even know that? If you can do that, or I have to create each person's website separately?
There is a plugin.
Anna, you're going to want to mute yourself for the answer.
There's a plugin called WP Clone, and you can actually copy an entire website, and you basically set it up on a new host, and then you can restore the website. It will create an exact copy, but if you're creating a site for someone else and you want to have a template to work from, you can clone that site over and then change the content to be whatever you need for the new site.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Right on. Yeah, there's no end to the things that we need to know how to do. So once you stick your big toe in here, you're into a whole new world. But it's an awful lot of fun.
One of the things that I've found that I'm working from, and this kind of goes back to what Nathan was talking about, what we've done with one of my sites, the Crohn's infection site, is instead of, there's been a lot of interaction on Facebook, but what we're finding is that a lot of people want to be more private. So we've actually put a forum on the site so that people can have interactions directly on the site. That also allows us to build an email list because people have to log into the forum. But it also has created a very nice platform for finding out what people want to know. And so now, if we get lots of questions over and over again, we can go out and we can create a blog post, or we can interview one of the doctors and get answers to their questions directly and post it on the site. It gives us all kinds of, as Jay would say, a plethora of ways to mine the audience, basically.
So this is a private community or a private discussion board on the website.
Yes, we've actually created. Well, it's not live yet, but we've created a location where people can just click on forum, and then they can read through a private forum that's on the site. And Google actually loves this because we're getting constant posts and constant engagement. As opposed to just waiting for comments to come in. This, people have conversations on there, and so
is this a Google group?
No, it's not a Google group. It's a forum. There's actually it's part of Buddy Press, but it's the BPP forum plugin that actually goes on the site. I'm hoping it doesn't slow things down too badly, but I guess that remains to be seen.
Right. Well, that's a good idea, and it leads me to remember to mention something to you folks. Paul and I had coffee last week, I guess it was. Was it, Paul? Time flies by when you're having fun. We talked about this group and lots of other things. Paul is a great sounding board. I highly recommend them to anybody who needs one. We talked a little bit about crowdcasting, crowdcast, and I'll mention this because crowdcast is one of those. It's not an envelope; it's a wrapper. It's called a wrapper for what we're doing here. And it has a lot of built-in things. It's still it's relatively new, and it has a free version and a premium version. The part that attracts me is that it provides an embed code so that you can actually run a Hangout like this from your website. And a number of the people that I'm connected to on Google Plus have been trying it out and liking it and playing with it. So I was wondering how this group would feel if I were to try to do a crowdcast. Would you like to come and play with me? So
yeah, I'd do it. Yeah,
and there's Paul saying yes, he would. Because a person needs to get inside and play with how to run it before you start going out there and promoting, etc., etc. So I would do this over and above what we're doing on Google Plus right now. So basically, what I would do is send you all a message and just kind of it probably will be either a Monday, a Tuesday, or Friday afternoon, sometime like that. Those are my most open days. So I'll connect with you. I'll set one up and connect and see who's got the time to come in and play. So I like that. That's again sort of going back to the website, the various things that you can do that will support the target group that you want to work with, and I think that might be something that for me that it's really my thinking about your website is everything you do in social media is to direct people back to your website, and then if you get them there, you want to keep them there as long as you can keep them there. So that's my that's my thinking on that. So just looking at our time, we've got 2 or 3 minutes. I just wanted to say something about Blab. Oh man, everybody I know on Google Plus is out there doing a Blab right now. And so I thought I would mention it. There are some benefits and some differences and so forth. Blab is run and owned by Twitter. And it's sort of like this, except that it only allows 4 people to be in the room together. But it also there are questions down this. People can carry on a conversation by text, and the neat thing about it is that you can if you're doing a broadcast like this, if you want to stop it and pause for whatever reason and then restart it again, you can do that. People think that that's a valuable thing. But the piece that most people are the most impressed with is that you've got these 4 people, and if you can lock the presenter and maybe one other person, you could do an interview or whatever, and you could have the other 2 slots locked for a while. But then when you want to invite people maybe who might have a question to ask or whatever, you can just very easily invite them in, and they can stay there, ask their question, and then drop out again, and then you can bring another person in if you want to. So it's much simpler, it's easier to use, and all of those things. To me, there are a number of things that it doesn't have. I find it's more suited to spontaneous conversation, but it doesn't have some of the features that the Google Hangout has, such as screen sharing and a number of other things. So, you know, they're different. But
how long does the recording last, and can it be recorded?
it is recorded, and when the broadcast is over, you the person who the host receives an email with a copy of the video, so that then you can upload it to YouTube if you want to, or post it on your website, or break it up and edit it if you want to, or whatever. So that seems to be a piece that a lot of people really like. However, one of the things that I've discovered is that when you go in and log in and do that, now I'm getting these automatic notifications on the bottom of my screen. I can't for the life of me figure out how to shut it off. There's a place in their settings where you can unselect things and save, but it doesn't seem to take. So I'm a little you know, wondering about that. But having said that, Blab is very new. It's only a couple or 3 weeks old, and people are still playing with it, and it's really being it's still considered being in a beta version. So that one is available mobile for those who have iPhones. However, it's not available as yet for Android. So if you wanted to access that from an Android phone, you'd have to open a browser and go in and use your browser for that. What else can I tell you? I
just shared a screenshot of it within our group chat here as to what it looks like. It's
where did you save it? In the community? Or in the...
No, I did it in our group chat, in the Google Hangout group chat here.
Oh, I'm not seeing it. I see Pixabay, but I don't see...
Oh, okay. It's right below. It says take.ms.
Oh, I see it. Yes, thank you.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, thanks. That's good. So this is a little bit the same as a Periscope, although a Periscope is kind of one way. So if I were wanting to put out something to my audience with a Periscope from my phone, Periscope only works from your phone, but the viewers are only able to communicate you through texting. And this one is a little is much more robust and seems to work. So a lot of people are playing with that, and a lot of people are playing with Crowdcast right now. So, but to be honest with you, I still haven't found anything that I like as well as Google Hangout. So.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
I see we're about 2 minutes following. So do we have any parting comments before I stop the broadcast? It's been a good morning, and thank you for sharing and asking all the right questions. Anything anybody would like to share as a parting comment? I guess you, Jay, you did make a nice parting comment about blogging, but in general, anything anybody wants to say? No, there's a blab notification on my screen again. Can't get rid of the darn thing.
You mentioned it. There it is.
Yeah, right. It heard me.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, and as somebody did point out that that's a kind of an unfortunate title. So now that everybody's talking about blabbing. So, okay, so I think it's time now to wrap up today's conversation with a reminder to please join the Being Your Own CEO community here on Google+. You'll find lots of resources and conversations happening there. And I would invite you all to be sure to contribute what you're doing there. You're most welcome to contribute what you're doing. And if you're a YouTube fan, I also invite you to subscribe to my channel. So this is Loa Ann signing off for this week. Bye, everybody.